Hey, welcome back to Gamer Guide channel. I am Rollin, and today we're going to be building some ships and trying them out in the challenge mode. I wanted to try some battery ships and play the game basically by just setting up the rules in what they call AI in this game. So you just set up basically what you want the ships to do when you're not controlling them directly, and it will do it. So right now I'm just building a couple little ships, and then we're going to put in some rules here. And then basically you adjust the rules by how important they are for that particular ship. Now I'm kind of new to this, so this is my first attempt here at trying to put in the rules here for the AI, and then of course each of the slots holds that AI so you can switch out your fleets later. Now as it is in the game right now, you can have different AIs for different ships from what I've seen, but I haven't tried this really. I've always been playing with the AI off, which usually works pretty well, but this will allow for little smaller fighters to go out and capture stuff without having to do so much micromanagement. So it's kind of a challenge to me personally to see if I can set up some AI where I just need minimum input when playing against the computer. Now I probably wouldn't recommend using a lot of AI bots when playing against other players, because they usually just spam the higher end robots with the bigger guns and stuff like that and create walls of lasers and long-range artillery, from my experience at least. But anyway, right now I'm just redesigning this little fighter. I want something that uses batteries, and then we'll go back to a mothership to recharge. And I'll probably make a couple different ones. I'll do one with like a more of a gunner sort of ship, like this guy, and then I'm going to make one that's going to be a missile ship here too. Same kind of concept though. I want to make it battery powered, so it's a little bit cheaper than some of the other stuff I make. Try not to get over like $400 per ship, so I want to be able to have a couple of them working together. And then the rules I set down are going to be to stay together, kind of fight in a group formation so they can put out more damage, and it'll be better against the larger enemies too if we keep them together. So this one I'm going to do a missile, and we'll do an anti-aircraft gun, and then we'll throw in some of this medium armor, which lets you go a little bit faster, costs a little bit more than the heavy armor, but I don't want to go too slow and I don't want to overspend with the light armor. I'm going to go ahead and redesign this a little bit. I didn't quite like the way it turned out, so we're going to go ahead and flip this up and make it a little bit bigger, a little bit more armorful, and hopefully look a little better. Here's what I came up with. I added 3 of the thrusters, 2 on the other one. Trying to keep the miles per hour up a little bit on this, so they're both about 150. The other one's a little bit faster because it's got 3 engines. I'm going to take off some of the armor here to make it move a little bit faster. So I think we're a little bit closer to what I wanted on that guy. The light armor would be nice, but then I'm afraid it's going to boost up our cost a little bit too much. Alright, we need to go ahead and set up our rules for our missile fighter too. So let's go in here to the AI. We definitely want to capture points, attack on sight, and then for this guy we probably need to attack the ones that are a little bit faster and weaker. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll do less hit points though, might be a better way to do it. What else do we have here for choices? Let's go ahead and we'll do one that is out of energy, find the recharger ship, which should be trailing behind, and I also want it to stay in range of the gunner and other missile ships, so we create a little fleet. And let's see what else would be important. We'll move these up because they kind of go by order of importance. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. Like I said, it's kind of my first attempt here at programming the rules here in the AI, and we'll see how it turns out. We got that moved up a little bit, so probably should be more important to recharge than to stay with other units. So we'll go ahead and make that primary. And now let's go ahead and let's make our battery-powered ship. It's going to be bigger with a lot more armor, as it's a little bit more important ship. If we lose this ship, then we kind of lose our other little small fighters. So, and I've not really tried this before. I've always kind of made independently powered ships and a little bit bigger ships too, but now with the AI, I think I might bother to try this. Now, again, like I said, I'm probably not going to use this in multiplayer mode, but for the campaigns would be okay. So here's what I came up with. Lots of thrusters on it, some wings. It kind of looks like a beetle a little bit, but it turned out sort of cool, and we got a little battery on the back too, and then it does the energy transfer. So let's set our rules in here. We're going to attack enemies that are a little slower and weaker, but really I'd like to stay away from enemies if I can. So I'm going to try to avoid taking a lot of damage, and stay around other allies too would be helpful. Let's go ahead and put that in here. Let's see, we'll put in stay within 2,000, should be good, meters of a friendly unit. And then we also want to capture points whenever we can, so we'll throw that in kind of midway down the list. Definitely want to get energy. And then I'm going to start by fielding one of these at the beginning of the battle automatically. I may not like that, but we'll try it now because I kind of wanted to. Besides selecting ships, I kind of wanted to have the AI compete against the computer's AI and see how our ships do. AI kind of matched against equal AI. Of course, my rules might cripple me if I did something wrong, but we'll see. I'm also going to throw in some of my other ships I've built off camera. One of these is a missile cruiser, and I got to set up its rules as well. So we're going to also stay within range of friendly units. We're going to want it to capture points, and then I want it to stay in range of other ships that it could assist, like the kind of a good guard for the battery ship. So that's why I put stay in 500 meter range of slot 3. So on the bottom there, you know, each of the ships has their own number. So the little fighter is going to be number 1, missile ship 2, power ship 3. So that's kind of how you decide which slot you need to put the assist on for that particular role. All right, here's my artillery ship. Looks like I had a wing off there, but fix that. We'll go and set the rules for that. I want this to be a little bit more aggressive. Go out, hunt other spaceships, and then also should be firing a little bit longer range too, since it's got a 1,500 meter distance on it. I wanted to definitely attack the slower and weaker ships first, as the little space fighters that are really fast. It whiffs on most of the time when it tries to hit with the big artillery gun. I do have a backup point defense gun on the back, and on this ship what really makes it awesome is that the little recycle-looking emblem blocks that I put on it make it shoot faster, so it's just like a machine gun firing artillery ship, which is really awesome. You'll see it in action here in a little bit. And this is my glass tank. The little plasma discs can take out big enemies really fast. Again, I wanted the plasmas to recharge a little quicker, and those little stars on the ship make it fire independently at targets, or basically it doesn't fire multiple discs at something that would have been destroyed with just one, is what the little stars do. So we get the rules set up here too. Same kind of thing. We want it to be a little more aggressive, so we're going to go 2,000 meters on attacking enemies, and we want it to attack enemies that are more hit points and bigger. Alright, so I think we got everything done here. Got all 3 of my bigger ships programmed. I got my 3 symbiotic ships figured out and programmed together. And so let's go ahead and take it out into a match here. Now I'm going to go ahead and start with the energy ship as it kind of auto spawns, and then I'll do the missile cruiser. So it's not gonna really take full advantage of the little fighters until we get some more of the money. But we got so many of these little buggers here, the little attack vehicles, that I figured I had to do something to kind of protect the energy ship at the beginning of West Biscuit Cream. So my missile cruiser's pretty good, but it did get taken out by that swarm. Let's go and take some of the fighters in here and see if we can protect our battery ship. The good thing is it's got lots of hit points, and it does have some point defense guns, so it's not totally useless against these little fighters. But my other ships do need to rely on it for power. And what's it doing? Now, I'm not trying to control it too much, but I'm going to have to help a little bit here, as it seems to be leaving the fighters behind and going off on its own. It's not really what I intended, so I might have to do some adjustments on the AI. And these guys behind me are capturing the point. So if I was playing, I definitely wouldn't have left that point abandoned. So maybe the AI is not the smartest thing in the world here in the challenge mode. But we were able to save it with just moving a couple things around. And it does kind of see that the points are going to get taken and defends the last one when that's happening, so that's good at least. Alright, so we got 4 of our machine gun ships and our battery mothership. They're doing pretty good at taking these things out, but I think I would rather have like a flak than having dual machine guns on this thing, as it does a little bit better job against the small ships when they're swarming like this. But you can take out like 3 or 4 with the flak cannon, because as long as they're within the right area of effect, it will do its job. Seems like my batteries are holding out pretty well, and even though my power ship is lagging behind, they're still able to move and keep up the machine gun fire pretty well. And when they're in a formation like this too, the damage output is pretty good before they can even really get into hit too much. They've already taken out some. So we got our power ship kind of staying behind. That's about perfect. So far, so good. I mean, this is a pretty easy match here. So I would kind of expect us to win. Unless I really screwed up somewhere on the AI. Alright, I got a backup power ship coming in. Just because our main power ship got really beaten up by that little alpha swarm earlier. And we'll spawn in another missile cruiser ship. It looks like we're going to win. These little guys just keep taking points, though. That's the problem. They can kind of split out to smaller ships and take it, but I don't like building little junky ships that are totally useless without any weapons and stuff like that. I usually like putting at least one gun on it, and most of the time I like putting two guns, as you saw on my ships. So if it goes up against another cheap ship, it's going to come out victorious one-on-one. So that is kind of the logic behind that. So we got the point closest to their spawn picked up. Got that secured. The battery ship is having a kind of a hard time keeping up, though. I think I might want to make a little smaller, a little less expensive battery ship. Maybe something with like stealth, so no one can see it. So maybe I'll do that after this game. But we definitely have crippled the alpha swarm. We have we have half the points, but I think we're going to end up taking a lot more here in a second. Alright, we got my top two ships. Now they're all kind of together in one giant fleet. Maybe they're a little bit too punched together. It'd be nice if they would kind of separate into like maybe 2 or 3 different segments, but like I said, I'm not trying to control it. I just want to see what the AI does against the computer's AI and see if I've done a decent job at setting up the rules. Alright, they're going back down to the point closest to the spawn, which is, if I was playing normally, I would just camp some of my big ships down there, like the artillery or my missile cruiser, which is kind of coming in to the energy ships to help protect them. It looks like my power ships are moving back down towards my fleet, as a couple of them are running low on energy. And we picked up the victory. Nice. Alright, so we finished out the Alpha Swarm, which is kind of the first one in the medium difficulty in the AA mode, but let's go ahead and we'll build that little better version of the power ship. I want something a little bit smaller, something with some stealth on it, and a little bit quicker, a little less expensive. So, and I'll probably use light armor on this one too. So I'll be right back when I get this one finished up. Alright, so here's what I came up with. Got a couple adjustments here I want to do. Let's just move that armor down and we'll fill in these holes here. There we go. It also looks like a beetle. I don't know what all my spaceships, why they have to resemble beetles, but they just kind of turn out that way, or at least they look that way to me. I'm going to also change out my machine gun fighter for a flak and machine gun, as I think flak is going to be a lot more useful against clusters of small ships. And then we'll go and set up the rules here. Again, we want to capture points whenever we can. Definitely want to find units that are out of energy, and this thing is faster. Goes 187 meters a second, so real fast compared to the other bigger, more heavy one. And we want it to stay in range of the 2 battle-style ships. So I'm going to move those rules up a little bit towards the top, as they're more important. And probably 1,000's fine. I want it to stay in range so that it actually can do some good and power things up. And we want it to avoid damage. I just have that 1 point defense gun on the back. It is a heavy one, so if those little fighters come in, it can take it out in one shot. But it's a little bit slower to recharge, so if we can avoid fighting, that'd be good. And I'm going to go ahead and have that one auto-spawn at the beginning of the game, and I'll take off the auto-spawn on the heavy ship. So we should be ready to go now. I made those changes. Let's try it in a couple more matches here and see how we come out. Just double checking on my rules here and moving things around a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and make it like within 2,000 range of friendly units, so if the other ships aren't around, it can at least be powering up the bigger cruisers and stuff. Because a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just spawn one of these like glass tanks at the beginning, or my artillery ship, which is awesome. It's probably my go-to ship most of the time in my games. But right now we need to kind of rush our points and also take out these little fighters. Almost hit it. Now I'm trying not to control it. Like I said, I'm letting the AI do it. If I was controlling this and not let the computer take over, I would have kept one of the ships on that first point, because they almost lost right there by having the 3 go out and go to that second point. Especially with these little tiny fighters that can move so quickly. My ships definitely are not as fast, but they do pack a punch, so we do kind of dominate once we get to the circle. Alright, let's see how these ships are. That worked pretty well. Like I said, I have a lot of damage output on that glass cannon style battleship. And it's going to kind of track along with my other two fighters. Power ship and fighter, rather. Alright, now so heading backwards, I guess it's going to go ahead and defend that point. We shouldn't have any problem taking this out. There we go. Took out 3 ships, no problem with our bigger glass tank. Because it is the man. And, alright, they're splitting up a little bit here. I guess we're just trying to keep those little swarms off, but my point defense should be able to hit it. But those things are freaking fast. You little bastards. Wow, okay, they got me. That's bad. Alright, but I brought in an artillery ship, so we can hold the last point. It's a super slow ship, though, so I think it's making a mistake right now by going to the second point. But like I said, I'm trying to control it, or not to control too much, but I can see that it's going to lose if it goes out to the second point. So I'm going to try to hold it on the first point manually, and we'll bring in a fighter and a power ship, too. So hopefully we can retake some of that ground we just lost. Definitely a couple mistakes there. Alright, shouldn't be any problem taking this guy out. Oh wow, it's got good point defense. Now you might want to stay over there. He's about to take our last circle. Can we push in? Well, the point defense can hit it, so that's good. But the big bombs seem to be missing for the most part. What's it doing? It's trying to shoot the little micro ship way out there. That's ridiculous. It shouldn't even be aiming at ships that small. I probably should set up a rule in there somewhere that says, you know, aim only at vehicles that are, you know, higher hit points or something like that, because that's kind of ridiculous for my giant artillery to be shooting at little micro P ships. Alright, fighter's taking this point, but it got destroyed, and we're kind of losing ground again. Alright, power ship would be kind of good to have coupled up with our artillery, which looks like is happening. But they're going for that other point again, so we are kind of at risk of losing that thing. And that thing is good at taking out my artillery. But it looks like a couple shots got through and we took it out. And they're losing a lot of their big ships too. Alright, we're going to try to see if we can take out their ship as it goes in to take our point. But it's still doing really well at our point defense. I want to bring in something that has a little bit more close-range firepower. I know our other fighters do have flak now and machine guns, so it could be good against these guys. But they don't have very much hit points, and that's kind of the problem. There we go, our point defense on our power ship took the other one out. So their ships aren't very tough either, fortunately. A couple shots get through and they're dead, but their point defense on those medium-sized green ships are really nice. Might have to put some more of those little tiny point defense on my ships as they do a good job of defending against missile and artillery shells. But again, we got through, kind of depleted its power by overwhelming it. And the AI seems to do a pretty good job. It's got one up top, one down south, taking the points in tandem, but we are losing that center point. Looks like the power ship is about to go down there and save that point, but then the rules basically said you got to stay near the fighters in Group 1, and that seemed to be more important than taking the points. So I might have to change those rules around where taking the points is always Rule 1, and then powering up the other ships would be really cool too. I don't know, it's kind of a hard toss-up. Maybe it's okay as it is, because I definitely do need to keep the fighters powered up. Right, I got the glass tank in there, and that thing should probably finish the game, because nothing could really touch it from the enemy's scheme that I could see. I don't think point defense can do anything against the plasma rings, so anything that gets near this is going to die. Alright, we got the last point being taken, and I think we're going to beat the green ship. Yeah, we won that one. Nice, so we got my core out, so it's the second one on the medium difficulty. And let's see, let's get into another game here. Alright, what should we do next? I'm thinking, let me just go to Tortman. We'll do the third one. So let's start this. We'll start with the artillery ship, as that one does pretty good work for us. And it looks like they have some medium-sized ships over there. Just kind of judging from how big it is compared to my power ship. So we'll do a fighter, power ship, and artillery ship. And we'll kind of push out to the second point. Or it looks like that's what the AI is going to do. Again, I'm pretty much playing hands-off except for selecting ships. I'm not telling the ships where to go or anything like that. It's kind of part of the challenge. I want to see if the rules are smart enough to win the games on their own with what I've built. Alright, do we want a missile ship? Possible. We got 2 of the gunners, and they're kind of clustered together too, so I'm a little worried that we are going to get creamed if we don't have good firepower. So fortunately, I think the artillery ship will do a good job. That's a mistake. The fighter just flew in there on his own. I definitely wouldn't have done that if I was controlling the movement of the ships. Let's see how the artillery ship does. Looks like it's tracking the little fighters. They don't seem to have any point defense, so this is probably going to be a really quick game, as the artillery should be able to take out most of their ships at range. Looks like we're tracking shots on the other one. And we killed it. Nice. Alright, bringing in some more of the smaller fighters and missile ships. Okay, I don't want that one to kill himself again, so I'm moving it intentionally. Now it's kind of breaking the rules, but it's derping out. At least get close. And the other one's probably going to backtail. Yeah. Alright, bad decisions. Definitely wouldn't have chose to do that. So from what I'm seeing, the AI is not the best. I would definitely prefer to control the ships on my own when I can, but it's just the micromanagement is a pain. So if I could have it where it's like half AI, where half of my ships are controlled by me, like the bigger stuff I control, and the little small ships, like really small, smaller than the ones I've built, can be controlled by the AI just to take points and stuff, that'd be great. But unfortunately, Istrolid doesn't have that feature yet, where it's either all or nothing. You gotta either have AI on or off for everything. So I guess you could, I don't know what happened if you didn't have any rules programmed into the AI for a certain robot. Maybe then it could be controllable. So I might have to try that, putting in no rules and seeing how it comes out. Okay, we're doing pretty good. We do have a couple green ships coming in behind us, and we have that little cluster of them in the middle. But they can't really seem to stand up to my artillery ship, so, and they can't get any of their missiles through too, because they have pretty good point defense on both the power ship and the long-range artillery. Alright, they did manage to kill my glass cannon ship pretty easily though with those missiles, because I don't have good anti-missile systems on that ship. So I'm going to go ahead and try my missile cruiser, which is coming in. It's a little slower, but its missiles are faster than other ships' missiles, and it has a pretty good range too. So I'm going to bring it in a little bit. It also has anti-missile systems. So yeah, it's taking out the other ships pretty easily. Alright, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm moving in the missile ship to point 1, as I don't want to lose that. I want to destroy the other ship too. Well, look how much faster my missiles are compared to these ships. And then I also have flak, and I have the anti-missile system, which is nice. Alright, so we have the fighters again going up top to grab those points, and it looks like we probably have this in the bag. I'm not sure why my missile ship's not moving now. I must have bugged it out by moving it manually. Alright, so I have another artillery ship and a fighter in the Queen, but I think we're about to win here. Maybe not. Now if those guys would turn around and go back to the point, we definitely would win, but I think it's going to beat us to take in the last one. But that's alright, now we got them all together, and they can push out. I guess I got the artillery ship. That big missile cruiser is still sitting there. I guess it thinks I'm going to control it. I'm not sure what's going on. Hey, wake up. Move. Go do something. There we go. Sleeping on the job. You're going to get fired from Space Command. Alright, we are taking out these missiles. And it looks like these are the last 2 ships. Our little battery-powered missile ship. Oh man, it got taken out. So their green ships are a little bit better than my battery-powered missile ship, even though it has a good anti-missile system on it. Alright, this artillery should take it out. Yeah. Easily. Alright, now we're going to press the last point, it looks like. And we should win this one pretty easily, too. I think it's kind of weird how this game works with the artillery. It shows those little X's that appear on the screen are where the shell actually explodes at, if you haven't figured that out. And so the AI is figuring out where it thinks the enemy is going to go to based on its current trajectory. So that's what all those little X's are. Cool. We won. Very nice. Very nice. All right. I think I'm gonna play maybe one more, and then we'll probably call this an episode. This has been going on for a while. Well, maybe two more. We'll see. All right. So again, we're gonna use the artillery ship. We have the power ship and our fighter. As it's a little bit faster, it can get to these points a little quicker than our artillery ship can go. And it looks like they have some big guys too. But as long as they don't have super great anti-missile defense or anti-artillery shell defense, we should be pretty good. Now it looks like they're both shielded too, which might be kind of hard to see from my screen, but I'm trying to keep both of the ships, my fleet and theirs, in the same screen. Alright, they just spawned some little guys, some little fighters. Doesn't look like there's anything on them though, no guns or anything like that, just a thruster with a battery. And they're going to capture the points. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and probably declick my artillery. Well, let's see what happens here first. Alright, artillery ship's firing. Looks like it's missing a lot. Had some bad decisions there. Alright, the problem here is that all the little ships are taking the points, and we're left with one. So if they just run in and grab the last point, they'll win. So we probably need some smaller ships. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the glass tank, as it can kind of move independently and take back the points. And it'd also be good against these ships, as they seem pretty tough, so I'm hoping that the plasma discs will just wreck it. Alright, seems like the fleet is splitting up. I'm not sure that's a good idea. And we have the artillery ship coming in, firing at these others. Problem is, these big ships from the green side are really pretty fast, and they're good at evading what I'm firing at it. They basically have to make a pretty big mistake to get hit. That one's just sitting there now, though, so maybe it's run out of power. I'm not sure why it's doing that. But we're hitting it now. Okay, and it took out my artillery. Not really impressed with how it's doing against those medium-sized guys. But we are taking most of the points now that I have a couple fighters out flying around without any problem. But we got that little guy taking spots back in the middle. Those guys are super annoying. Alright, so somebody pushes the little scout ship out. I think we'll have won. Oh, they have one more battleship that just flew in with the two plasma discs. And looks like we won by taking the point. Alright, let's try against Belfry, which is one of the harder medium enemies. So they got a little bit tougher ships, and they also have some pretty good scouts. So I started with a glass tank to take out their other plasma disc ships. Hopefully ours will last a couple of shots from the enemy. And then I have a fighter. And let's get back there. I have to kind of direct the AI here in this one particular instance because they're about to lose. We'll keep the battleship and the power ship there for a little bit. Alright, looks like the AI rules kind of kick back in. There we go. I'm glad I turned around and defended. Alright, we have 2 points at least. And the point defense made short work out of the little battleship there, so that's nice. Alright, we're going to go for another artillery ship as long as we can get up there, because I think that's going to do pretty well against these slow-moving plasma disc ships from the enemy side. I'm a little worried that our fighter and our battery ship aren't going to last very long here against their plasma discs. We'll see how it turns out. Yeah, 1 shot, 2 shots, and it's dead. Plasma disc ship, hit it 4 times, 5 times. Wow, hit that other ship like 5 times with a plasma disc and it didn't kill it. So it's got lots and lots of armor. So definitely the artillery ship's the way to go, because those things are super slow, so it shouldn't be hard to hit them. Let's see how it does here. It's tracking it pretty well. Okay, the thing's trying to take evasive maneuvers, but it didn't really work. And I have some point defense here and a lot of armor, so. And we had done a lot of damage too with the other ship too, so that kind of helped in that situation. Alright, we need a fighter just to keep the points. I'm about to build a battery ship next, as I don't have anything to recharge it with. And we got another one of their battleships coming in. I think I'm going to make short work of it here. Looks like it's going to happen, as those things are not maneuverable at all. I did take out my fighter ship, though, again with one shot. Nice. We even got their little scout. So basically, my artillery ship's doing all the heavy lifting in this fight. I probably could have not built any of the other ships and just had 2 artillery ships and been doing even better. I don't think missile cruisers would do well, and obviously the glass tank is getting shattered by these things, so... The artillery ship, definitely one of my favorites. There we go. It'd be kind of cool if you could name these ships like in Robocraft, I think. I'm not sure exactly what I named them, but it'd be fun to give them some names. And there's a place, too, you can put these up to share with other people. I have found when you play multiplayer that other people can pick your ships by just like left-clicking and then clicking on an empty slot. And they can basically make instant copies of your ship. So that's a little bit different from other games. As if you like someone else's ship design, there's no buying it, you know, there's no need to wait. You can like instantly take it as long as you have an open slot. So that's kind of a cool thing about this game, or not cool, depending on if you like having unique designs. But I had some people in the multiplayer I played on this like compliment me and basically just copy my artillery ship right away. It does work, as you can see here. Probably one of my best, most effective performance designs right now is the artillery ship. Missile cruiser I like a lot too, the one I just spawned out. But it's really good against like fleets of smaller ships or mid-sized ships. And if it gets overwhelmed, the armor isn't super tough on it. It's just like the medium grade armor. But I think it looks kind of neat too. It looks like a space fighter, more traditionally, I think. Alright, we're pushing the last point. Let's see how the Belfry ship does against our fighter. Yeah, I made real short work of it. We got a scout ship and artillery, and that are facing off now. It looks like I'm a little bit too close now to hit it with the artillery. And wow, it took out my artillery. That's not good. Alright, it's going down for that second point. I'm hoping my other ships will go down and try to stop it and just have one of the scout fighters go capture that last point, but it doesn't look like it's going to do that. So definitely I recommend playing without the AI from what I'm seeing here, just for situations like that. If you're good at micromanaging your ships, basically, do that. But if you don't want to bother micromanaging like tons of small ships, then I would use the AI. So basically, the smaller you build, the more I recommend AI, and the larger your ships, the less I'd recommend it. And in multiplayer, I definitely wouldn't recommend it at all. But it was kind of an interesting experiment to see how it works. And we're trying to catch this other fleet here. Now let's see if I can do some good. Missile ship's going for it. There we go. Killed one of ours, but we killed it. And we're going to take out that scout and take the other 2 points. The missiles will get it, definitely. Alright, this game should almost be done. It would have been done a while ago if it wasn't for the derp. The derp AI. It's made a couple mistakes. Alright, I think when we go back, if we can manage to kill their plasma ship, well, it looks like we're avoiding it. That's probably also a mistake. But if we can get back there and take it out. Now, if we can get the artillery ship in range, it could take out both those guys pretty easily. Alright, pushing down one more time. Hopefully this will be the last push. And we got one guy coming in too up top. Alright, made short work of that fighter. Now I also might want to try to program in rules to keep the artillery ship further away from enemies. I'm not sure if there is a rule for that, but I would guess there probably is. Or like flee if enemy gets in within a certain range. Yeah, made short work of the plasma fighter there. Alright, they need to swarm in and get the last circle. Now, I don't think any of the controls down below, like as far as grouping or waypoints or stop and stuff, really do much in the AI mode. I think you have to be controlling ships like manually and stop them. Maybe it does, I'm not sure. But there is a couple, that's what those symbols are down by how much money I have, if you're wondering. Alright, we got the last point. We have one more last-ditch effort here at taking our ships out. But looks like we got it. Nice! And the victory against Belfry. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it an episode. Hey, check it out, gamers. I found something that looks like a little secret for an upcoming DLC that they may be coming out with soon called the Paint Job DLC. Looks like you can put these logos on your spaceship, and they have different stripes, they have letters, numbers, all kinds of cool things to kind of decorate your ship. Looks like a way that people will be able to support Istrolid, basically through cosmetics and decorating their ship. So it looks like we have like skulls, swords, all kinds of cool little things you can use on your ships as a decal. I kind of found this after stumbling out of the AI and choosing an empty spot here, and it defaulted to that instead of going to some of the different parts you can choose in the design mode. So there's a little sneak peek. Looks like we're going to be getting a DLC real soon for Istrolid, and from the look of it, it's going to be all cosmetic and pretty cool stuff. So anyway, guys, if you like this episode, I'd appreciate it if you would leave me a comment down below and thumbs up this video. And I'll look forward to seeing you next time for some more Istrolid here on Gamer Guide Channel. Later!